Hi everybody, welcome to episode 6, I think it's episode 6, Border Crossing. With me, Dan DeMarco, your host. I'm also here with, of course, as always, or maybe not as always, she wasn't with me last night, but Luna the Wonder Dog is here with me. We are heading up to the U.S. It is, Tuesday, about 10:30 in the morning. I did a show last night, or I did an episode last night, on my way back from the airport. First ever nighttime recording. Talk a lot about the trip and what I did when I was gone. But I got to go up to the U.S. to pick up actually some mail, some tag packages that I sent from the U.S. One of the downsides of living in Mexico is there's not really a mail system here, at least not that I'm aware of, at least not yet, that I've seen. Even though every house has a mailbox on it, it doesn't seem like there's any mail that's ever delivered. There's not certainly like an equivalent of a U.S. Postal Service or anything like that. So I get all my mail. We have a UPS store at where we came an address, so that's actually kind of our home address for anything like kind of U.S.-based business. But the downside there is, in order to get mail, I have to drive up to the U.S., go across the border, go through all that painful stuff just to get my mail. But in this case, it's the stuff I actually really need, and I need it now, so I got to go up there today to pick it up. So I wrapped up a bunch of meetings this morning. I've got a little bit of gap in time here. When I can just shoot up here to the U.S., get this mail, and head right back relatively quickly. Now, relatively quickly, but when we're crossing the border, it's a relative term for sure, because you never know again what you're gonna get. It's past rush hour, it's the morning rush. It really shouldn't be that bad, but again, every time I say that, it ends up being bad. Although I have to say, I don't know if I mentioned this, it seems like, and I hate that cursing, but it seems like the past maybe month or so, the situation at the border has greatly improved from a traffic volume perspective. And I don't know, maybe it's the time of year. Just haven't been here long enough to understand the ebbs and flows with the different times of year. But it just seemed like for the first 5 months I was here, it was just absolute madness every time I went up there, no matter what time of day, no matter what day of the week. But that has not been the case recently, and things have been fairly reasonable. So I'm actually going to go, the route I'm going to go is the so-called fastest route possible. I'm going to try and sneak in the very front of the back of the line and get lucky. Probably won't get lucky. I have a couple times actually now, so maybe it's not as rare as I was thinking it would be to actually get to the back of the line that way. But anyways, I'm going to give that route a shot again. See what happens. I am going to stop and get gas, I think, because I don't want to pay $7 a gallon in the U.S. in San Diego. Absolutely ludicrous. When I can pay $3 a gallon here, which actually is still, as I said before, it's still pretty expensive for Mexico standards. But the problem is I don't really have, I had more pesos here, so no. I really like to use cash when I get gas. I don't know why. You can pay with a credit card. It's no big deal. Almost every gas station takes them. But for whatever reason, I just like paying cash when I get gas. Not the most weird things. I only have not nearly enough money to do that. Well, I got almost a half tank. That should be more than enough to do what I need to do. And I'll deal with it when I get back across the border. I think I just move by because I'm going really slow here. Beautiful weather again. That's pretty typical. Although there's starting to be some cloudy, dark days. It's moving into the rainy season, I guess. I guess the fall or winter, if you want to call it that, here. sky. It's quite interesting. I understand that raindrops do fall down from the sky here sometimes. I've yet to see that, but I'm sure I will. Yeah, the episode I shot last night was actually 3 episodes, well, 3 parts. I had to make a pit stop, and which actually turned into a complete fiasco. So I made that pit stop, then I had to stop, of course, recording at the border. I gotta get in my emails and see if CBP has responded to my question about filming, recording, crossing the border. And I gotta just pay it on the Mexico side too and see what the regulations are of bidding on that. It's been lazy here, or I just haven't had the time. I'm still pretty beat, I gotta say, for my trip. Denver, I was in Denver before I came here, and I'm not real good with altitude. It really took a lot out of me. I made a mistake in going climbing while I was up there at this gym. Yeah, what a pretentious gym it was. Yeah. I think it gives Boulder a bad name. These people were just incredibly dickheads. But anyways, I get there at 7:15. The guy's the first thing he says is, "We close at 8." I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I'll just do it quick. And then he proceeds to charge me $28 for a day pass, the full amount. 45 minutes of things the place is about to close. There's nobody in. He could just wave me in, or at least give me some sort of a discount. Seriously, and $28? That's San Diego prices. God, dude, ridiculous. The gym wasn't that great. It was super easy. But I should have been climbing though, because really at that altitude, my cardio fitness is just not there where I should be doing that kind of strenuous activity. With COVID not that long ago. Yeah, COVID is always a worry when you're traveling. Especially going through these airports packed like a sardine in planes, and in the airports themselves, you're packed like a sardine in these trains. I mean, there's just people, wall-to-wall people, and everybody. It seems like there's so many people traveling these days. What is this? Gracias. Buen día. He just got a salute there. That's a new one for me. I don't think I've heard of salute yet. That's French, isn't it? French? Salute. Anyways, yeah, I love that. I always talk about these toll booth guys. I always hear different things from them, different greetings and whatnot. That's the only Spanish I know is greetings. How to say hello. Goodbye. Yeah. So far, I pretty much extended my vocabulary. No, I'm doing a little better than that. I'm learning a few things, but still not nearly as quickly as I need to. My residency application's in process right now. Actually, I've been waiting for an email. I need to check my email today actually to see if I got anything from them about when I might have my interview scheduled for. When that happens, I'm gonna have to jump in a car, I guess, and drive up to Fresno again. Because it's just impossible. For those of you who have any thoughts about trying to get residency, don't try to do it in San Diego. You just cannot get appointments in San Diego. Mexican consulate there is absolutely impossible. I guess my understanding is they're only really seeing Mexican nationals because I guess they've gotten so far behind on passport applications, different things that some Mexican citizens were screaming bloody murder about how come I had processing all these foreigners first or whatever. So anyway, don't even try to go to San Diego unless you're Mexican. Even then, I think it's not that easy. But you're not going to be able to get an appointment. Anyway, you can. But there's very few options. Las Vegas is another possibility, but I could not get an appointment in Vegas. We tried it, so it was not possible. But Fresno, you can actually just show up without an appointment, which is very unusual. Actually, there's very few Mexican consulates at least that you can actually do that. But you can just show up, hand over your paperwork. Of course, you got to do all tons of paperwork you got to fill out. You got to do it all absolutely correctly. Any small mistake, and it's like start over from square one. And they really are looking for any tiny mistake. To give you an example, you have to have one of the things you need is a letter from your employer saying that you are authorized to live. Basically, that you work for this company, you're in good standing with them, you live in Mexico, they're okay with you living and working there, working in the U.S., whatever, living in Mexico, and state your salary, what your position title is. And it has to be signed by your supervisor. And it has to be hand signed. Okay? They do not accept electronic signatures, they don't accept copy, facsimiles of signatures, hand signed. And so you think to yourself, well, come on, how are they going to know? I mean, you can make a copy. But no, they have a little thing that they actually, the very first thing the woman did when I handed over the paperwork, she opens up the folder, she looks for that signature, and she swipes it with her finger, and then this little thing, which I guess this little thing tells you if it's a real ink or not, or whatever. And so she's looking for a disclosure. I don't know exactly what it was, but that's the very first thing she looked at. that's the kind of thing that they take so seriously. And there's like an order to things too, and there's a process for doing everything. I think it's like that probably for most immigration type, probably in most countries, but it's really very process oriented, and everything being absolutely 100% correct. And it doesn't matter who makes this mistake. You know, it's not. It could be you, or it could be the person that you're relying on to get the document from that does it wrong. It doesn't matter. You're gonna pay the price for it. You're gonna have to start over, ground zero, basically. Usually that involves going somewhere else that's way far away and then going back to the place you were, again, waiting in a huge long line, probably at both places, and a lot of frustration. But my wife did manage to do it. She has a residency now. I'm pretty close. I know my paperwork was in order, so it's just a matter of getting this interview. And of course, I'm looking for this email. Now, if you missed the email, because at least for my wife's case, they sent the email and it said your interview is at like 2 days later, Tuesday at 3 p.m. And there was no like, if this is a problem, here's the alternatives. This is it. This is when you're coming. And if you don't show up, you don't know if you're ever going to get an appointment again. You may not. You may have to start all over. Who knows? There's no options given. So it's a little bit, it's very difficult. Most people can't just say, oh, okay, tomorrow I got to go to Fresno. Sorry, work. Sorry, family. Sorry, whatever. But I got to be there because there's no other options. But there's not. There's no other options. Either make it or you don't. And it's kind of a way, I guess, of proving you're serious about the whole thing. But it makes things rather inconvenient, for sure, and difficult. So I'm still waiting for my email, but I'm very much anxious about. I was glad to see that it didn't arrive when I was traveling, because there's no way I could have made it. I'm in Denver, I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, whatever. I can't just hop on a plane, just go to Fresno, just go to this interview, and then go back to whatever I was doing. Unfortunately, that did not happen. I think the woman said 10 days, but it was a good 21 or 28 days before my wife got her interview scheduled after she submitted all her paperwork. All right, back there, Louise. Still good. I'll play a little bit of frisbee with her. I'm gonna take just a little bit of break time with her. But that's it. Then it's just go get the mail and get home. Let's try to get in here. A lot of hills in Tijuana. I did not expect that. I had no idea that Tijuana was such a hilly city. But yeah, you get up into the city, like off to the right here. You can't really see it. There's some incredibly dangerous hills and roads that is like a 100-foot drop off the side, no curb, and the road's too skinny already to begin with. There's too many people on it already to begin with. People are just flying. I mean, it's kind of crazy. Although I've seen much worse actually, but it's not. As I said many times, drivers here, traffic here in Mexico, I feel like are pretty, at least this part of Mexico, are pretty insane, pretty normal. And the roads are in generally pretty good condition. There she is, the beautiful city of Tijuana. I gave a presentation on my last day there traveling. It went all right. It's funny. I had the talk before me was how to give a great presentation by this guy, a colleague of mine, good friend, who is just a fantastic presenter. I mean, one of the best. Some people that are just naturals when it comes to presentation. He's been doing it for so long. I don't know if he was born a natural or not, but he's just so good at it now. Just knows how to capture an audience, how to make them laugh, how to pay attention, what to pay attention to, all those things. And so he gives us this presentation, which was a fantastic presentation, actually, of course, about how to give a great presentation. It was really good, funny, interesting, the whole thing. And then it's me. Now the next one, it's like how unlucky you got to be to get that spot. Fortunately, it went okay, I guess. It was again, it was kind of intimidating. It was weird. It was a really small audience, and mostly some people I knew, most people I knew. It's all a kind of internal thing. But I was nervous actually, which is weird. And I usually don't get too nervous. This one, for some reason, I guess maybe because of the setup there. I was a little bit nervous. My voice was kind of crackling and whatever. It's funny. But I think it went fine. It wasn't really a presentation. It was more of an information dump. Which, of course, is one of the things you're not supposed to do in a presentation, which I learned right before I was about to give mine. I love giving presentations. I actually really like it. I know some people get all scared and stuff. And I used to be that way too a little bit, but I don't know. I just feel like it's the only time I can guarantee people listen to you. I can't guarantee you. Basically, people have to listen to you for whatever your allotted time slot is. And usually, at least in a technical area, when you're talking, you know the most about the thing that you're talking about. No one knows any more than you do about it. So they're not gonna, some people might try to challenge you on certain things, but they really can't. So there's really not a whole lot of pressure in that situation, from my perspective. Now, I do every year, at least for the past 3 years, I've done this award ceremony thing where I'm sort of the host of the asterisk ceremonies, if you will, and I always give a little, like a 2-minute, 3-minute blurb, a little speech right before the awards. And that's hard because it's a huge group of influential people in the company. I guess it's still all internal, which makes it a little bit easier. But it's a very large audience usually, and it's kind of the higher ups in the company usually for the most part. So they're all really great. Every single one of them is a great presenter. It's great careers and great whatever stories. And you got to go up there and say something that's funny and interesting. And you got 3 minutes or 2 minutes to do it. It's hard. So far, I think I've been 2 for 3. I think maybe one year was maybe not so great. But no, shoot, I just missed my turn off there. I was supposed to go, but that's okay. There's a recovery spot right here. I can just take it right here. But usually I should have turned there. It doesn't really matter. I still think this is just as fast, just as short. Just to go the whole zip off there, and so I just take it right here. Just take immediate left. End up in the same place. I'll be lost there, but wasn't paying attention. Almost paid the price. And this intersection here is a little bit funny because it's got these blinking reds. I like to do this blinking red light deal. And you got to kind of be a little bit aggressive if you're ever going to go anywhere. And these blinking reds, they're especially stop signs. It's fun preparing for those, but I think I've got an idea for this year. We'll see. Which actually came out of the presentation I gave yesterday. I think it'll be okay. Thankfully, interesting. People don't remember this crap anyways. It's one of these events where people are drinking and having a good time, basically, and I don't think anyone cares really what you say. I'm not paying attention anyways. But the whole thing, I hand out the awards too, like, all the people that they won, and talk a little bit about what they did. About each award. But the reason I got to do this thing, which is interesting, is because there was actually any sort of like the company I work for, any kind of formal recognition thing for scientists and technical people. And there was all kinds of stuff they had for like the sales people, the business folks, and even marketing. They had some stuff, but anyways, they didn't have anything for the technical people. And really, it is really a science-based company. This is the company I work for. And the fact they didn't have that was kind of shocking to me. And I was saying, well, proposed this idea that maybe we should have some awards, and I had a little PowerPoint blurb or something about what it was. Unbeknownst to me, that turned into me doing all the work of organizing it, pulling it together. And I got to go ahead, but then I had the first year I had about no help. Maybe I had one or two people, kind of reluctantly remarking that they sort of got suckered into it. And then the following year I had a little bit more help, and then last year I think it was pretty good. I had actually almost all marketing actually was supporting last year. And same thing this year. Looks like it's going to be. It's getting easier each year on me, the workload, which is nice. And I think it also shows that people appreciate it, and it's something that people value. But they haven't asked me to stop talking yet. So one of these years they'll probably say, this guy go up here and waste 2 minutes, so they won't let me do it anymore. But until they say no, I'm going to keep doing it. Or I might say something out of line. Hopefully not. I don't think I will do that. Although I might. I could. Let's say I could. I won't. Probably. You never know. I could. Won't be this year though. I hope. Alright, anyhow. I'm still not really good. I'm going on autopilot here. I'm not really been paying attention to where I'm going. I'm pretty sure I'm going the right way here. Yeah, I'm going the right way. It's funny. This is such a maze down here, and it's a nightmare when you first move down here, you first start. And I talked about this in the first couple episodes about how hard it is, how lost you get, what the heck, where you are, and you get going. So here's the front of the back of the line here, and you can see there's no way I'm going to be able to turn in here. You've got the green shirts out, directing traffic. That means there's no way I can sneak over here and cut the line, because that would be absolutely deadly for myself personally. So I'm going to have to keep going straight here, and what I'll do is I'll look for the first place I could do a U, and they've actually got this set up where there's places where you can actually U-turn legitimately to get into this line, the Century line here. And this is, of course, the Global Entry Century line. The fastest of the lines, San Ysidro. One of these days, I'll drive out to Otay, Mesa, the other kind of bigger. Well, it's not big, but the other small border crossing that's sort of near me. It's only about 20 minutes from here. They typically have shorter lines, though, not all the hitches they typically. And you can see him stopping. He's stopping traffic now, so he can let the through traffic through now. The local traffic. Yeah, I don't really know who these yellow shirts work for. If they work for, I assume they work for the feds. They may work for the state. I don't know, but they have some official capacity. They have a relationship with the police because they definitely have walkie-talkie. They call bus people out for various things, mostly cutting the line. Which, if you recall, my most conservative route that I do, which guarantees that I would not have to do this backtracking because it would always put me at the back of the line. It takes you down to this traffic circle. There's one more coming up here. Man, this is really quick out of here. So I can't cut in here either. You got yellow shirts again. I am way back. Holy smokes. This may actually go all the way back to the. Quick trip. There's my quick trip. God, jeez. Welcome to the border. Oh, sorry, it's only Tuesday, so I'm gonna have to wait a little bit for me. Damn. It's even backed up going this direction, which tells me that it's probably all the way to that traffic circle. Because people are trying to get around the traffic circle to get back into the line. It's impossible to know if it's volume, just so much volume, or if it's just the fact that there's not enough lanes open. And if it's not enough lanes open, it's no way to know why. You know, maybe two people took vacation or got sick, didn't show up for work, or sometimes you just don't know. CBP closes down lanes just to be dicks about it. I don't know. Maybe there's a tiff with somebody at the embassy had a fight, whatever. I don't know the reasons. God. This is when you pay the price for trying to be that fastest route, that quick route. Because now I'm going the wrong direction. I'm sitting in traffic. I'm gonna have to turn around and sit and going the other direction too. Whereas if I had just been conservative, I'd already be in the back of the line. I'd probably be where I am now, but going the other direction. This guy's cutting. See, you really, dude. Don't do it, dude. Oh my goodness, what an ass. God. Now, see, that's really bad. That's really bad. Nobody saw it. Nobody did a damn thing about it. Well, don't do that if you're moving down here. I mean, if you got an emergency. Even if you got an emergency, I don't know, don't do that. You really pit poor to get. And again, I think it's actually dangerous. I mean, some people will take that really poorly. Including officials, including the police, including those yellow shirts. If they see that, you are going to get pulled over. More than likely, they will get your license plate number at some point. I mean, maybe that guy will too. I don't know. They do have cameras all throughout here. I don't know if the cameras are looking for cutters, perhaps. I know the yellow shirts definitely are. Here's an actual police, it looks like here. I think driving. Wow, this is something else. It's really backed up. Jeez. Man. So what was going to be a 45-minute trip is now going to be at least an hour and a half, probably. What's it looking like? Based on where it's looking like the line is going to be at. Why is he directed traffic? But it doesn't seem to need to be directed right to that particular spot, but I'm not sure why. Interesting. I gotta stay in this far left lane because what's gonna happen here is I'm gonna get to this traffic circle, and in order to make it around the traffic circle and get back in line going the other direction, I've got to stay to the inside. If I sneak to the outside here, it can be impossible to get back into this lane because people are not very forgiving or friendly about letting you in, including myself. I'm not gonna let anybody in, not on purpose. Yeah, I'm still a good 200 yards, 300 yards from that traffic circle where I gotta turn around, and it's a cluster up there, man. There's always, but when it's backed up like this, that means it's really a cluster up there. That's why I'm not moving. It's making me question the wisdom of my plan here. What I could do here is bail out, go back home, wait till later, hope things quiet down a little bit. The problem is, if I wait too long, I'm going to be talking about rush hour on the way back, and that's going to be really painful. San Diego rush hour just sucks. 8:05 and 5 back up every single day, from basically 2 o'clock till 6, I guess, maybe 5:36. So you're pretty much talking about start and stop. To worse degrees than some days than others, but those are the only options, is going north-south, really. Well, what I can hope is they open up, they see this. Sometimes when it backs up like this, they hope that they open the floodgates up there at the border there and try to get people moving more quickly. Possible to know if they're actually going to do that or not, but and there's police everywhere here. Oh, with the police here, there's so many police here. Try to get that way here. Nice Mustang. Yeah, the police here, the Guardia Nacional has some really nice cars, a lot like the U.S. police. They have motorcycles too, for that matter. Some do, not all, but. So, looks like this is the end of the line here, so I potentially could, there's a cop right there, that's the only problem about you right here, this guy's doing it, I potentially could do it too here. No, dude, don't do that, come on. Yeah, if it wasn't for that cop up there, I would definitely do this. I'm just worried that he's gonna take a chance here. This is the end of the line, I think it's legit. It's not like I'm cutting, I'm definitely not cutting. Line ends here. I'm not the only one. 4 other cars did the same thing. So it didn't go all the way back to the traffic circle. That's a relief. You gotta go all the way that far back. You got a long ways to go. You still got a long ways to go, but not as bad as it could have been. At least we're going the right direction now. Head back towards the border instead of away from it. Yeah, so I gotta buy a car too. So the Honda here, we're gonna sell it. I think we made a decision that it's gonna be sold. So I'm trying to fix it up a little bit. And it's always I'm not sure exactly what to do. I think I'm gonna do the CarMax route here. Just take it to CarMax and see what they'll give me for it. So it's a crapshoot in terms of how much I should invest to try to up the value at all. I don't know. It's in pretty good shape. It's got 108,000 miles, but it's 2015. It's got all the kind of bells and whistles. 2015. I think Kelly's Blue Book was putting it at like 11,000 or something for a fair trade value or something. I don't know what was that, something like that. So I'm thinking I'll get maybe 7 or 8 for it. If I get 10 or more, I'd be really happy, but I doubt that will happen. It's got some body damage on the outside, and interior's in good shape. And the body damage is going to cost too much to fix. I think I'm not going to try to deal with that. But I'm going to try to get the interior, I think, a little bit nicened up. Oh, here, put it down. As much as I bitch about this car, because it is really just like such a mom car. Even though it tries to be like this, I don't know what it tries to be, but it's got the little seat thing in the back, which kind of it's been good for what I've done, which is moving around a little bit, and I don't know. It's so boring to drive, it's so slow. It's like it's just got. It really it's like driving a go-kart around. It's got so little power. But it's nice having a small car in a place like this, like Tijuana. Having a big car here, having a big car has its advantages too, especially with the roads. At least as you get further out, away from the cities and where I live. And the clearance on this car is just not exactly ideal for this speed bumps and things like you see here. But this is a good car. It's one of the, I think one of the last models of cars. You really can work on this car, which is rare. And I never really worked on cars at all until I got this car. And I changed front brakes, rear brakes, of course, change oil and all that stuff. So I've learned a little bit about working on cars, a very little bit, but it's helpful here in Mexico for sure because it's not as simple. Going to a shop is not quite as simple, especially when you don't speak the language. It's much more affordable to go to a shop here in Mexico, and there's also mechanics that will come to you and actually do a really good job. I've heard. I just don't have any connections yet to do that. I need to do that, make those, because I'm going to have the truck left. This 2001 Nissan Xterra with 200,000 miles on its second engine and third transmission is going to be my next car with no air conditioner. That's going to be fun. And it does not get very good gas mileage either. Oh my god, dude. But anyways, and it's loud as all can get out. Not having AC really sucks. You don't have the air conditioning, it really sucks. You got here, luckily it doesn't get that hot, but it's just because it's so loud. Mostly you have to have the windows down. It needs all kinds of work. And it's a car you can work on too, but my mom gave me this car. I told that story I think a couple times already. 2016 I think, or 17, Christmas. Really, really, really nice. Best gift to every guy I think, probably. And of course that was the year notoriously, famously I got her a ball of yarn. Don't do that. Sorry, Mom, if you're watching this. I really felt terrible about that. Which, ironically enough, she actually returned the ball of yarn, as I understand. It was not the correct kind of yarn, even, that she was looking for, so. She did not inform me of at the yarn store where I bought it. A Yarn Crossing in Louisville, Kentucky. You got a yellow shirt and a policeman here working. I guess maybe they're training or something. I don't know. But that's kind of unusual. I just realized I learned this the other day. I did not know this, that because up in San Diego, motorcycles and stuff are zipping in between the cars and the lanes on the highways and stuff. I always thought that was illegal, but apparently it is not illegal in San Diego, or at least that part of California. Maybe it's all California. I don't know, but it's not. And they get pissed at you, man. If you're like too far over, too close to the line or whatever, they'll honk at you and stuff. The motorcycles that come zooming through. I don't know. I gotta say, it kind of ticks me off. It seems like a very dangerous practice. I mean, I get it. you don't want, it would really clog the roads to have motorcycles having to wait like cars, but man, it just seems so dangerous. You know, you go to countries like Brazil where that's the standard practice, and then you stick your hand out the car the wrong time and you're gonna lose your hand. Really, you can't stick any bandages out of the car at any time. Although usually not moving very fast, at least around Sao Paulo. Golly, talk about traffic. When I left, I don't know it's the last time I went to Sao Paulo, but I can't remember what time my flight was, but it took a grand total of 7 hours to get from my hotel to the airport. 7 hours, and it was not that far away. I don't remember what the distance was, and I had heard about the notorious traffic, and I don't know what I budgeted in time wise. I did make the flight. I think the only reason I made it though was because it was delayed. Because I think I only budgeted maybe 6 hours or something, or 5. I don't remember exactly what I did, but somehow I made the flight miraculously, and I was sweating it out the whole time, of course. Because if I don't make the flight, it's gonna really suck for me. Because I have to stay somewhere in the airport in Sao Paulo. I don't know. I didn't really know at that time where to go, but made it. Just sitting in that cab, and the taxi driver, man, he was, I guess he was sort of used to it, but he was pissed too. Even for him, I think he thought it was a bit unusual. I don't remember what I paid him, because it was mileage, but it was also time, so there was a time component to it. It was a pretty pricey ride, Brazil standards, I guess. I think I could have walked it probably in about that time. I really do. I really think I could have probably made it in about 7 hours on foot. Well, that's almost a whole day. The whole day is sitting in this car trying to get to the airport. This line is never. Well, it is that bad actually in the all traffic lanes. There are times when you can sit. I've heard you can sit for 8 hours or more. I think the most I ever sat in the ready lane one time was 2 hours, which felt like an eternity. But that's actually probably about average. I mean, not average, but maybe on the high average side. But I think the most I've sat here in Global Entry Century Lane is maybe 45 minutes. Actually, I should bust out my app, my border crossing app. It has a there's one that I like. I'll have to do it. I keep saying this. I'm gonna do it. So one time I'll show some of the different apps for the border, navigating the border. There's one I like. It's a pay app, but it's really cheap. I was like $2 or something for a year subscription. But it has cameras. They've got all kinds of cameras around the area, so if you know where they're pointed, and you look at them before you leave, you can sort of see where traffic is. Of course, I never check them, but the other thing has like a little line timer thing. So when you get in line, you can start the timer. Then when you're done, you can stop it, and it feeds into a database, and so the data gets more accurate. The more people that use it, and actually quite a few people do use it, because at the times I have used it, the data's been quite accurate actually about what the times actually are. But you have a choice, because you can always go to Otay, and so if you get on your app there and you look and you say, oh, Isidro's way back up, but Otay's not. Well, then you go to Otay. It costs you 20 minutes. But it's probably faster still than sitting in this line for 45 minutes. That's the calculus. This is new to my left here is what they call the New City Medical Plaza. There are a lot of rich expat U.S. people, and also other countries I think too, that come to Mexico for medical care because it's so much more affordable here, ridiculously more affordable here. And this New City Medical Plaza sprung up. It's like a whole complex, and they have some really good. They've got everything you can find in the U.S. as far as specialties and such, and really good doctors, really good reviews and such. And you can actually kind of live there too. There's like apartments and such. My wife will be going to see a specialist there, so we'll find out what she says about it. Anyway, we're just getting one patient back here. I didn't bring any water in the airport. I'm going to stop me some water.